So this is a picture of my beautiful Indian mother. I don't look anything like her. She was born in Bangalore in 1925, and she married her first cousin. I think it was they were in the Muslim community, and so she was actually the first woman in the family to go to university because her father allowed it. So this is what she looked like, when she just got married. She was 23, 24 years old, still wearing the Pakistani clothes, the Indian clothes. But you see, there was the partition of India and Pakistan, and so they had to leave India and they had to go to Pakistan. And so in this picture, I mean, she's still a young woman who hasn't stepped into her career as a journalist, because she became a journalist as in the picture that you see before. Here she is actually in a career woman, and she isn't in Pakistan, but in Pakistan she started a career as a journalist for Radio Pakistan. And so my brother was born in Karachi, and he was actually the second born, because there was a firstborn as well. There was a first child who was handicapped, but not right when he was born, but later on he didn't do too well, and so he died later on. And it was a cause for a lot of pain as for the parents. This picture is of both the children. She's wearing a sari, and their life changed when they had to leave India and Pakistan. And this is in Tehran. They went to Iran, and she's still wearing a sari here. But as you see, my aunt, who's the one on the far left, she has adapted to the Western dress. These are all my aunts, people who were the women in the family, and my mother was still wearing a sari, and she was working in journalism at the time. This is a rented place in Tehran, just when we arrived, my family arrived. And this is a later picture of my father. He was, was very touched by the fact that he lost his first son. But when people immigrate, there's lots of things that happen on the way, and you can't expect children to do well during the immigration. But this is my brother, the one who was a child, and he flourished. And this is Tehran, and he became an electrical engineer. This is when he got his degree, and so that was a happy moment. This is my British cousin, Amine, on the left, and that's me on the right. I'm 20 years old and she's 27. Amine was brought up in England. She was a British citizen and she went to Sussex and she studied biology. And then she went to Pakistan with her mother and started to work for a newspaper called Dawn. And so she was quite happy because she found, her friends and new people. This is my aunt, who is actually in these ruins we went to visit. They're close to Karachi. These ruins are 5,000 years old. I've forgotten the name now, but we went on an outing and, to see these ancient remains. And then there's this is a picture of me on the right as I was a 20-year-old, and this is on the left there's a bride in her Pakistani clothes. We are in Karachi, and Amine is on the right from me, and she never got married. I mean, she got engaged, but she didn't carry on, and she was in her family life. This is another cousin who's still living in Pakistan, and she's doing quite well. And then this is my auntie Jahan, who was in England with her husband, and she took her children to England after he died, and so they grew up there. My mother and my father in Iran, in Tehran, established during the Shah's regime. They were working for the oil company. She was working for the oil company and he was working for another company. And this is me as a 16-year-old in this house that my mother bought with a loan, because at that time we were lucky enough that the government gave loans to people to buy houses. And it took 30 years for my parents to pay this house off. But then the war between Iran and Iraq took place in the 80s, and this house, which was just a villa with glass window panes, didn't do too well during this war. But, it was a beautiful house. I have very good memories of it. So this was a beautiful, happy moment we shared because my aunt was a good cook and she invited everybody. And my mother was over the moon because she had two cooks work for her, my father and my aunt. And she had, gave big parties and invited everybody, and we all made merry because of the moment in the 70s. It was very good. We were very lucky to live through the 70s in the Middle East and not have wars or as destruction as today. In Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, the other countries in the Middle East where things have been latest Israel-Palestine conflict right now in 2023. And, we were living in a beautiful moment in the 70s. So this is one last picture of my aunt with her little baby. I mean, that was what life was about, Mohenjo-daro is the place where I was thinking of. Mohenjo-daro is a place that that we visited because this was a town, this was a city, a civilization which had a sewage system 5,000 years ago. So it just shows how far ahead they were.